So just before we start the 5-year-old section, that will be starting in a few minutes' time at 11:25. Just great to think about how this class has developed over the years into now what we call the Young Event Horse Series. It started way back. I'm really afraid to think how many years ago when it was known as the FEHL, the Future Event Horse League. And that was started off by Harl McGahern. His daughter Angela is hard working out there in the ring. The great Commandant Ronnie McMahon, Lars Bjork, formerly from Dolanstown, and George Myrna, the great ambassador for the eventing world when they started this league way back, and they ran it, and the aim was to promote the Irish event horse. So they have succeeded in leaps and bounds as they've come forward over the years. And these men, and sadly, we only have Lars Bjork still with us, but I'm not sure whether Lars is here today. But the other men, sadly, no longer with us, but it was their great idea that started this off, and that has developed the sport beyond all recognition as we supply numerous winners out of this class that have gone on to compete worldwide and winning medals throughout the world, whether it's World Equestrian Games, whether it's in Kentucky, whether it's in badminton or wherever. They are right up there holding their own. The Irish event horse has been top of the Breeders' League for many, many years. That time just slipping down a place or two, but then they bounce back up. And that's all based on the results of the Irish horses and their performance. It's the performance wins. You can say all you want about it, but it looks as to the results. So the results are awarded, and the Irish really hold their own. So, you know, it's on days like this when we come to the main arena that we think of the likes of Harold there, waving his hat at us. He was the master of ceremonies in the ring, to Ronnie McMahon barking the orders for us to jump, and when Ronnie said go, you went to go. George was the diplomat, and Lars just kept the whole ship steady. So a huge thank you to those, and to our follower on people who have really taken up the mantle. To Angela McGahern is absolutely a driving force behind this, travelling the length and breadth of Ireland to the qualifiers that take place at the 4 venues throughout the country. They're there every Wednesday on the day of the event, where they have the 4 and 5-year-old and the young event rider classes, and you could have up to 100 plus entries at that. And then they do it all again on the Saturday for the Connemara's and for the Irish drafts, and then they repeat it all again. It all happens in about a period of about 5 or 6 weeks in late June and the first few weeks of July, so that they have time to qualify for Dublin. But to Orla Doherty, Orla is one of the regular stewards at this class, all the way down from Carndonagh in Donegal. To Louise Parkhill. Louise has been synonymous with this class since the very early days. To Emma Plant, and to Adam Stevenson. Adam, we go up to his mother and father's, Jim and Brona Stevenson's Tullylish, but Adam is the main man for all the northern venues for the courses. He is well known for his course design, a top class man. And to our various venue owners, to James O'Connor, and down in Fort Mountain, James, a huge help in keeping the sport going. They're down in County Wexford, and as I said, Brona and Jim Stevenson up in Tullylish. To Chris and Sue Ryan, we wish Chris the best of health. He's out of action just for a few days. He's down in Knocklong, so a lot of people will have been missing his commentary here. But Chris has his own passionate way of his love of the Irish sport horse and speaks so passionately about it. Chris, of course, travels worldwide commentating in America or in Poland or wherever it is. He travels the world. And a huge thank you too to the lady that worked so hard, Angela McGarn, and her mum Margaret. They run the event over in Ringcoola. But we're just about to get started now at 25 past 11. We will have our first competitor into the ring. And here they come right on cue. In the 5-year-old section at the Longies RDS Dublin Horse Show. We start with the 5-year-old young event horse. And we have 20 entered to compete. And they've all done their party piece out in the ring yesterday, where they had to do the flat work. Then they had a number of fences to jump, and then they went to the confirmation. So we have our judges here again. Janet Breakwell from England, and Miss Sally Ike has travelled all the way from the United States of America. And John Paul Sheffield, also a very experienced international event rider. As we wait and we look at our first competitor, and this is the very, very experienced event rider, Stephen Smith. And Stephen rides Strangford, number 560. And 560 is owned by the hard-working Terry Johnston in the eventing world. And the bay gelding, bred by Dorothy Wilson in Rickamore Road, Templepatrick, County Antrim, the Sarley Dam, the dam, Templepatrick, Dara Bay, and the dam, Sar Cruising Mickey Finn. They qualified in Tullylish, and remember, they jump the 5 fences, or to fence 6, as the show jumping section, and then they go on to the cross country. So we look now at Stephen Smith and Strangford for owner Terry Johnson, setting up for the roll top on top of the bank down to the wall. It's just that tight step. So coming to the final fence and sort of full of running. Well done, Stephen. Absolutely. Great way. Nice round of applause for our first Pathfinder in our 5-year-old young event horse. Now, for people just joining us, just wondering what this class is, this is not to produce show jumpers, it's to produce event horses. So this is all slightly different. Fence 1 to 6, the double is the show jumping phase. Then they go on to the cross country, and then they're asked to gallop down the arena. So Stephen Smith, one of the top national riders in the country, based up there in the north of Ireland. So the time allowed on the first show jumping section is 62 seconds, and then the time allowed on the show jump or the cross country is 114. So total time allowed is 176. So next to go is Patrick Byrne. Patrick's been around a couple of times in the 4-year-old class, and this time Patrick rides number 553. And 553 is the Richard Ames owned Balleen Market Delight, a chestnut gelding, bred by Kieran Collins in County Wicklow. The sire Newmarket Venture, the dam O'Brien Delight, and the dam sire Castlecomer. They qualified up in Tullylish, and rider is the experienced Patrick Byrne. So we look now at Balleen Newmarket Delight, turning back now in front of the embassy boxes to take on the roller, and then down the bank on that short stride into the wall, and on now to the, unfortunately leaving 2 on the ground in the show jumping phase, but nice and clear cross country. A nice round of applause for our latest finisher, Balleen Newmarket Delight, and rider Patrick Byrne from Wexford. So next to go is number 561, and this is Sean Looney, and Sean rides his own KDSL Touch of Power, bred by Colin Mulvaney in Red Hills, County Cavan. The Sire Cara's Touch, the dam Course Cashel Lady Lancer, and the dam Sire Limerick, and they qualified in Rincula. Yet another one of our horses for sale. So they're away and running on KDSL Touch of Power and rider owner Sean Looney. So we're looking now at Sean Looney. Coming now to the final fence on KDSL Touch of Power. So Sean, a nice round of applause for him, but picking up time penalties on both phases. 62 seconds, he was just over that, and also over the time 114 on the cross country. So we'll give you a score, and Stephen will have your score now in a minute, but Patrick Byrne, Patrick has finished on a score of 82.3. Next to go is number 559. This is Jenny Jakeman's Cruise Along Water Lily, bred by Jenny, and the Sar CC Captain Cruise, the Dam Monsoon Maisie, the Thoroughbred, and the Dam Sar Rainwatch. They qualified in Rincula, and rider Duncan McFadden. And yet another one of our horses on the market for sale. So we look now at Duncan McFadden and Cruise Along Water Lily for owner Jenny Jakeman, coming to the roll top and bounced down off the bank nicely into the wall. All cleverly built by Derek Hamilton. And coming to the final fence, and the time looks good, just the two fence unfortunately down. Oh, a nice round of applause for Duncan McFadden and Cruise Along Water Lily. So then just to give you a score for Sean Looney and KDSL Touch of Power, they finished on a score of 70.7. We're still waiting just to sort out Stephen Smith's score. So next to go is the experienced Sarah Ennis, and Sarah is number 568. And Sarah rides her husband Nicky Potterton's Dolman Stellar Design, and bred by Jack Murphy in Dolman Lodge, New Ross, County Wexford, the Sir Quintino, the Dam Dolman Dimension, and the Dam Sir Dolman Deja Vu. And Sarah, one of our top international event riders and a great producer of so many young horses. Yet another one on the market. And Sarah also hoping to get her name mentioned for the World Equestrian Games in Protoni in early September. So now we look up and we see Sarah Ennis and Dalman Stellar Design turning back in front of the embassy box on the cross-country section over the roller. That hill comes very quick, the little drop down to the wall, and Sarah on the run to the final chase fence. And what looks like, well done, Sarah. A nice round of applause for her top-class rider. So to give you an update, we have a new leader, and there was the man that started the class, Stephen Smith, and Terry Johnston Strangford. They've gone into the lead on a score of 92.3, putting Patrick Byrne down to second place, and Duncan McFadden is in third on 78.7. So next to go is number 572, and this is Ginny Webb and Louise Bloomer, jointly owned. Shannondale Levy, bred by Mary Walsh in Kilrush, County Clare, the Shannondale Sarco San Giovanni, the Dam Shannondale Melody, and the Dam Sar Cavalier Royal. They qualified down in Fort Mountain in Wexford, and the rider is the... So, sorry Louise, just hang on a minute. Just hang on, Louise, just stand down now, hang on. We'll restart your clock in a while, you're all right. So, just to give you, we have a chance to score for Sarah Ennis, and Sarah has a score, and she goes into second place of 84.2. And Duncan McFadden and Cruise Along Water Lily there on a score of 78.7. But currently our leader is Stephen Smith and the Terry Johnson owned Strangford. They're on 92.3. Sarah Ennis on 84.2, the last that has just been out. And Patrick Byrne has dropped down now to third on a score of 82.3. And for people just joining, the horses have already jumped yesterday afternoon out in Ring 2, where they did a small flat display. And then they jumped, I think it was 6 fences, and show jumping fences, and then they were judged for their confirmation. And then they... So just there has been a slight change, Louise. Just listen to what we're going to tell you. Fence 4, Louise, are you listening to me? Fence 4 has come out. It has beyond repair, so thankfully there's been no faults at the fence, but we have taken fence 4 out of it, riders. You'll be notified down in the pocket. So we're going to ring the bell, are we? Are we all right to ring the bell? Yes, we have the bell. So best of luck, and sorry about that for holding Louise Bloomer and Shannondale Levy. This one can happen on cross-country courses. The course can be held due to an incident, but we're away and running again. And this is the Ginny Webb, Louise Bloomer, jointly owned the Shannondale Levy. So we look now at Louise Bloomer and Shannon Levy turning back in front of the embassy box on the cross-country section. The aim at and down the bank. It's a slightly different class from what a lot of the people might be used to looking at, but we see Louise stretching on now for the chase fence. And safely over that. Well done, Louise. A nice round of applause for our latest finisher, Shannondale Levy. And from time to time, they get held on the cross country like that, and they have to wait to be started due to an incident. So Louise, a very experienced international event rider. And virtually, I think I'm right in saying all these riders are professional in this class that are competing. So next to go is Daniel Alderson, number 554. And Daniel rides Orla Burns, a night shift B. Brown gelding bred by Andrea Etter in Belmont House, Belmont County, Offaly. The Sar setter, the dam Leia B, and the dam Sar Radolin. They qualified down at Chris Ryan's Scartine, and Daniel Alderson, our rider. So they're away and running. So we're looking at Daniel Alderson and night shift B, number 554. Daniel, a regular competitor on the eventing circuit, setting up for the wall and on now down to the final fence. Unfortunately, a couple down in the show jumping section, but safely, or well done, Daniel, safely home. So next to go is number 558, and this is Efim Ivanov's Model County Bojack, a black gelding bred by Linda Mullane in Bury, County Limerick, the Sir Water Valley Cool Diamond, the dam Ali Boucherie, and the dam Sir Mount Nelson. They qualified up in Tullylish, and rider Noel Dunn, yet another one of our 5-year-olds on the market. And to give you a score for Louise Bloomer, number 572, Louise has finished she's gone into third place on a score of 82.6. But Stephen Smith and Strangford and the Terry Johnson owned Strangford, they're out in the lead on 92.3. But like in the previous classes, we found that a lot of the horses have come very strong. The last 4 or 5 to go, pushing our leaders. So 20 horses to go in this class in total. Yeah, that's the show jumping section over onto the cross-country fences now, where they're jumping the fences with the green discs. As you can see, the pace builds up as they go onto the cross-country. They don't have the knockables to deal with. So we look there now at Model County Bojack, turning back now to in front of the embassy box and over the roller, down the bank and the step over the wall. Remember, this is to produce event horses. It is not to be producing show jumpers, but these are on. We're going, fine jump in over. Well done. Well done. Time okay. We haven't any. They have 114 seconds on the cross-country section, and that commences when they jump the double there in the middle. So all part of it is the gallop after. So next to go is number 570. And 570 is Chris Ryan's Tobias, and ridden by Jason Furling. William Neville, Fort House, Charleville, County Cork is our breeder, and the Sar Sands Frontiers, thoroughbred by the Out of the Dam Moon Approach, also a thoroughbred, and the dam Sar Shenazar. So this is a full thoroughbred, and rider Jason Furling, a very experienced rider. Oh, unfortunately, having to call it a day for Tobias. And interesting about Tobias, he's one of the few pure thoroughbreds in the class. That means he's eligible to go on to the racetrack. So all the others are crossed with the traditional Irish horse, but just not to be today. So just to give you a few scores, Daniel Alderson, Dave on Night Shift B, number 554 on a score of 71.8, and Noel Dunn on 70.2. So next to go, having a second ride, he's currently in the lead, and this is Stephen Smith and Tullihiri Poddy, number 565, and this is owned by great supporters of the Smith Yard, Garrett and Susan O'Shea. Bred by Charles Glean in Carrigaholt, Kilrush, County Clare, the sire Shannondale Sarko Shandavan, and the dam Tullihiri Lux Pat, and the dam sire is Lux Zed, and they qualified in Fort Mountain. Oh, we're looking now at Stephen Smith in over the wall on the run to the final fence. Well done, Stephen. Stephen, he had a hard day in the office with that horse in the ring 2 yesterday, but he's done a great job getting him around here in the main arena. It's a huge experience. Like a lot of these horses haven't seen crowds like this with the pandemic. But next to go is number 569. And that is Jonathan Steele. And Jonathan rides for his great supporter, Fran Roland McCormack and Monami Beauvalet. They've competed a number of times at events throughout the northern region. And this is bred by Fran Roland McCormack and by Centre Stage. Centre Stage is a horse that Johnny Steele himself has brought up through the grades and competed internationally with Centre Stage, the Dam Millie Lass and the Dam Sir Millie Hill. And that's our rider Jonathan Steele riding for Fran Roland McCormick, Mon Ami Beauvalet, number 569. So now we look at Johnny Steele and Mon Ami Beauvalet turning back to take on the roller in front of the embassy boxes. Just a little peck and down. Oh, putting in a short one, but by the great Centre Stage, and he was a fabulous machine cross country and still standing at stud in the north. Well done, Johnny. Very one of our popular event riders in the northern region. So next into the ring should be number 555, and 555 is Patrick Byrne, and the Ballygungeons stud Easy Flow, bred by Patrick Byrne and his father Paddy down there in Wexford, in the Sar Dignified Van Zorggevelet by the mare Jewel Fuel, and the dam of the Sire of the Dam is Lux Z. They qualified in Rincula. And Patrick Byrne is our rider. Patrick having the second ride in the class. But our current leader still is Stephen Smith on a score of 92.3. And at heels is Sarah Ennis. Sarah is 84.2. And Louise Bloomer currently in third on 82.6. Patrick Byrne, our current rider in the ring, he's in fourth place on 82.3. And in fifth currently is Duncan McFadden on Cruise Along Water Lily on a score of 78.7. So now we look at the BGS Easy Flow and rider owner Patrick Byrne turning back now in front of the embassy boxes to the roller. And then they drop down that bank, that short stride, and in over the wall. And they set sail. Now there are a few problems in the early phase, but going well across the country to the chase. Well done, Patrick. A nice round then from them. So we have a new second place, and that's number 569. That's Jonathan Steele and Monami Beauvalet. They've gone into second behind our current leader, Stephen Smith. Stephen on a score of 92.3. Johnny Steele has gone in on Monami Beauvalet for owner Fran Roller McCormick on a score of 84.8. So next to go is number 562. And 562 is the Mary Mangand-owned Ballinagore Maximus, bred by Patrick MacDonald in Ballinagore, Nina, County Tipperary, the Sir KEC Maximus Joe, the dam Ballinagore Blossom, the dam Sir Castlecomer Q, and rider Sean Looney. Sean having a second ride in the class. Yeah, and we look now at Sean Looney and Ballinagore Maximus, number 562, turning in. These are all event horse getting the angle right, making a little bit more room, coming slightly round. So heading now to the final chase fence. And that's a nice clear round, well done. And that's the first clear round we've had in a while. So that'll move them up the leaderboard, you would suspect. But next to go is number 563. This is the experienced Nicola Ennis riding Carrie Meehan's MBF Silver Bridge. A big gelding bred by John P. Murphy in Mullinavat, County Limerick. The Sir Silvano, the dam May Rochestown Lady, and the dam Sir Beneficial. So a lot of thoroughbred in MBF Silver Bridge. They qualified down at the first event of the series in Fort Mountain. So yet another one on the market, and away and running for MBF Silverbridge and rider Nick Lennis. So we look down now and we see Nicola Ennis and MBF Silverbridge making the approach to the roller for owner Carrie Meehan. And Nicola, another one of the Ennis sisters. There's three of them in this class. And all top class riders safely in over the final fence. Well done, Nicola. A nice round there for Nicola Ennis and MBF Silverbridge. Just to give you a score there for Patrick Byrne. Patrick finished on a score of 70.4. But we have good news for Sean Looney. Sean Looney, you've moved in to second place on a score of 90.3. So Stephen Smith, our first to go on Strangford, on a score of 92.3. Second is Sean Looney, 562 on a score of 90.3. And in third place is Jonathan Steele and Monami Beauvalet on a score of 84.8. So next to go is number 15 on their sheet, but it's 564. And this is the Declan O'Neill owned Rathone Quality Imp, ridden by the very experienced Gwen Scott. Bred by Sean Byrne in Enniscorthy, County Wexford, the Sir OBSO Quality, the Dam Conogues Dawn, and the Dam Sir Master Imp. They qualified down at Fort Mountain, and they're away and running. And we look down now to the Embassy back end of the arena. We see Gwen Scott and Rathone Quality Imp, for owner Declan O'Neill. And Gwen, one of the top riders in the northern region, whether it's working hunt or bringing on the young show jumpers. Well done, Gwen. Gwen safely home. And to give you a score for Nicola Ennis. Nicola, you've slotted into third place with 563 and a score of 86.3. But still, so we have number 16 isn't running. So next to go is number 571. We jump. And this is Niamh Tottenham. Niamh has been around here earlier on her 4-year-old. And now she rides a full brother to her 4-year-old. And this is Sleeve Colleen Gale, a grey gelding bred by Niamh Tottenham down in Ina, County Clare. And the Sir Tyson and the dam G Minx by the Sar Courage. They qualified in Scarteen, and Neve Tottenham, one of the Ennis girls, the three sisters in the one class, which is slightly unusual, but they're all top class riders in their own right. And Leslie Jones will go the final competitor. She's and we look now at Jade Tottenham and our own sleeve, Colin Gale, turning back in front of the embassy boxes. Jane based down in, and Neve based down in County Clare. Well done, Neve. Fabulous round. So we gave you a score there of Nicola Ennis. Nicola has moved into third place on 86.3. And next to go is number 19. And three more to go, and this is Godfrey Gibbons. And Godfrey number 567. 557. 557. And this time it's Maria Dunn. And Maria's son, Godfrey Gibbons, our rider, and Kilnamack Kasu. Bred by Bay Gelding, bred by James J. Ryan in County Tipperary. And the Sar Cannon, the dam Kilnamack Sioux, and the dam Sar Cruising. Godfrey, our winner of our 4-year-old class. This time he takes the ride on his mother's Kilnamack Kazu. And we look at Godfrey Gibbons coming down off the bank, nicely out over the wall. And Kilnamak Kazu for his mother. Maria Dunn just carrying the 4 falls from the show jumping phase. Oh yeah, well done. Nicely out over the final fence. Though it's getting tight at the top of the leaderboard. They're chasing our Stephen. And gone into second place is Neve Tottenham and Sleeve Colin Gale on a fabulous score of 92.0. Just 0.3 behind our current leader, Stephen Smith, and he's the man back in the ring. And Stephen second last to go, and 566. And this time he rides Caroline Overends and Carla Leach's CJO Canna Surprise, bred by Trevor Overend in Ballymena, County Antrim, the Sar Cannon, the dam CJO Curiosity Lux, and the dams Sar Lux Z. And they qualified in Fort Mountain and ridden by our current leader, Stephen Smith, number 566, Caroline Overends and Carla Leach's CJO Canna Surprise. So we look now at Stephen Smith and CJO Canna Surprise coming to the roll top in front of the embassy box. One of the most experienced riders in the country. This is their full-time job, dealing and riding in her. Come on, Stephen, well done. Absolute top-class man. He's currently in the lead with Terry Johnson's Strangford on a score of 92.3. And just to give you a score for Godfrey Gibbons, Godfrey home with a score of 81.6. So our final competitor in our 5-year-old young event horse class, and this is number 567, Yvonne Pearson, a great supporter with Leslie Jones, and Quality Choice. And the chestnut gelding bred by Paddy Donnelly in Kildysart, County Clare. Yet another one by the OBS Quality. And the dam Ballyleen Tower, the Damsar Womanizer. And they qualified at Tullylish and rider Leslie Jones. They're also in Class 15. Our final competitor in our 5-year-old young event horse series final. So we look at Leslie Jones turning back now down over the roller. Our final competitor in our 5-year-old coming to the final pence. And Quality Choice. Well done. So that's our final competitor. Nice round of applause for our final competitor. And now to give Stephen Smith some interesting news. Stephen had been in the lead for a long time on Strangford, and Terry Smith on a score of 92.3, but he's now gone and moved ahead of himself, and he's a new leader. And with the second last ride there, 566, Stephen Smith and CJ O'Cana surprise for owner Caroline Overend and Carla Leach. So Stephen Smith is currently first and second. And I'd like to thank our judges, Miss Janet Breakwell, our top event rider from England, to John Paul Sheffield, also a top international event rider, and to Sally Ike, who's come all the way from the United States of America, for their patience and understanding and judging here, and to the full team out there, to Angela McGarn, Dr. Orla Dardy, Louise Parkhill, Emma Plant and Adam Stevenson. They've been working since just after lunch yesterday afternoon, and we're in here this morning before 8 o'clock. To James O'Connor, to Ciara Gilroy, to Barbara McGrail and Soraya Morsher, to all the team, and wishing Chris Ryan that he's back out and about soon. So we will have our top 6 back into the ring shortly of the final of the 5-year-old Young Event Horse Series, kindly sponsored by Horse Sport Ireland. Just waiting now for the final competitor's result before we give out the full result of our 5-year-old Longies Dublin Horse Show winner for 2022. This class very kindly sponsored by Horsesport Ireland, and fabulous prize money of over €5,000 to our winner, over 3,000 to second, over 2,000 to third, right down to sixth place. And there is a mayor's prize. And our final competitor there finished on a score of 68.7. So we can give you the full result now. In first place was number 566, and this was Stephen Smith riding CJO Canna Surprise for owners Caroline Overend and Carla Leach. This fabulous bred by Trevor Overend himself, so they will be extremely happy. Second place, Stephen Smith himself again, and Stephen this time was riding Strangford, number 560, owned by Terry Johnson, bred by Dorothy Wilson in Templepatrick, County Antrim by the Sarludam. In third place was Niamh Tottenham, number 571, and Niamh riding Jane Tottenham's sleeve, Colin Gale. This was the horse that she rode the 4-year-old full brother in the 4-year-old. In fourth place was number 562. This was Mary Mangan's Ballinagore Maximus, bred by Patrick MacDonald down in Nenagh, County Tipperary, and ridden by Sean Looney. And in fifth place was Nicola Ennis, number 563. Nicola riding for Carrie Meehan's MBF Silverbridge, bred by John P. Murphy in Mullinavat, County Limerick, and rider Nicola Ennis. So two of the Ennis sisters back into the ring. Sarah Ennis, the experienced event rider, she didn't make the cut, but we're back in with our 5 horses.